Okay, so I thought about making a tier list about the champs that I want to be added to Path of Champions. So here it is. First we have the classic, the Queen with her own tier, SERAQUEEEEN. She's my most wanted champion by far. She has some really nice elements for Path of Champions, her being a totally random champion thanks to bar, and cost reduction is always good. Sadly, we've got a lot of PNZ champions and she's one of the only two champions missing. Her and the other one being Ezreal, which is also one of my most wanted champions. So the chances of getting her soon are pretty low, even though she was seen in the dev video though, so maybe she isn't that low on the list. Randomness is very fun and it's very good for Path of Champions because you can adapt to situations and it makes it so it's like more fun than just playing cards and winning, playing the same 3 cards and winning, you know. So yeah, SERAQUEEEN, my most wanted champion by far. And now we'll just go on to the list. So one of, again, my most wanted champions is Aphelios because I love control style decks and Aphelios is one of the champions that I play in League, so yeah, you know. Plus, I feel like if they add him to Path of Champions, they can make him generate a lot more moon weapons, and the versatility of that is very insane because you have a free stun, you have free lifesteal, you have free removal, and you also have a random unit generator together with a finisher which is Overwhelm. So you can literally do anything with him. You just need the mana and the weapons. And again, I'm pretty sure one of his star powers will make him generate more weapons because currently he can only get he can only use 2 per round, technically 3. If not, you can always run him with Grand General, so you can always use his champion spell to generate more weapons. And there's a good chance his champion spell will be in his deck and will give him draw. Also, there's a good chance that his weapons get a burst speed. Yeah, I forgot about that. After him, there's a classic, Azir. Again, I really want him because I hope, this will probably not happen, but I hope that Azir will focus on the Emperor deck, not on the normal deck. Just imagine how cool it is if his 6-star doesn't grant you a buff or anything, he just replaces your entire deck with the Emperor deck. You don't start with the normal deck anymore, you have the Emperor's deck. And every single item in the Emperor's deck, of course, gets items. It isn't just a weak deck, you know? It would be very nice and kind of thematic, you know? Like, game start, replace your deck with the Emperor's deck, and that's it. It would be very nice. Plus, there are a lot of Emperor cards that are very cool. My favorite one being the 7-cost guy with 10 attack and barrier that strikes an enemy. Very lovely. I like him a lot. I guess we should just go in order. I really like Akshan. I'll put him in want them because while I kind of really want him, I don't want to just fill the entire tier list with I really want them because it will become kind of lame. So Akshan. He's a very fun champion because he brings targeting to Shurima. And targeting Shurima is very cool because of Absolver, which grants you a very easy win con, because of Renekton's 2-cost that gives something vulnerable, which lets you end games with the 4-cost card that just obliterates the unit and deals double damage to it, thanks to Overwhelm dealing double damage. And it's very fun to just constantly trigger the landmark, draw more cards, grant your champions more spell shields. Like, I think that would be very cool. But not as insane as this 3. Okay, another one that I really want is Twisted Fate. I am originally a Yu-Gi-Oh player, and Yu-Gi-Oh players love 3 things. 1, denying their opponent. 2, comboing hard. And 3, drawing cards. And Twisted Fate is all 3 of them in one champion. He has the gold card to stun people. He has innate draw because he's Twisted Fate, he wants to draw. And because of how much he draws, he loves to combo people off. So I really want him. Especially because he was in Path of Champion before. It became Path of Champion. And from what I've heard, he was very good. So I'm really excited about him. Plus, imagine his 6-star just being every card you draw costs 3 less for some reason or something like that. Like, he'll just be insane. Next up, let's do it in order. Anivia. She can be cool, bringing ramp to the failure, but I don't think she'll be that insane. Because sadly, she kind of only has the ramp package. And that's pretty boring because for the failure, it's only just stats. It's nothing more than that. Compared to Val here that got big units, Anivia is just herself and 2 enlightened cards. So yeah, she's not that insane. It would be pretty funny to just copy Anivia with the stabilize though. I can give you that. Also, she'll probably have Harsh Winds as a card in her deck that gets discounted by 2 with the Tear of the Goddess item. So she can be pretty fun for control as well. But again, I feel like she would most likely just be reduced to a stabilized sprinter or something like that. So don't really care for her that much. I forgot to put Bard in the 3-star tier. Braum. Again, Braum is kind of don't care about him. Braum's whole idea is that his units are like Tahm Kench. They need a lot of health, which can be a pretty good idea, but I don't think they'll pull it off correctly. At least not with Braum. Because they'll probably be too afraid to give him a power that lets him block fearsomes easily. And a lot of modifiers use fearsomes. For example, the double my stats and give me fearsome modifier. And the Fiddlesticks modifier. Together with a lot of units that just have fearsome instead of overwhelm because fearsome is more fair. So, while I think that Braum can be fun, I don't think he'll be that insane. Draven. Really don't care about Draven. His idea is being Noxus discard, and while they pulled off Jinx discard insanely well, she's also the face of Arcane. Draven doesn't have that many chances of being as good as Jinx. Like, yeah, he'll probably get a lot of discard cards in Noxus, but what discard cards are in Noxus? They're like 2 cards, Vision and discard something to make it invulnerable this round. Not invulnerable, not be able to drop to less than 1 HP, but you get the idea. I don't think Draven will be that insane, and honestly I don't see how they pull him off. His fighting counter as a boss is very cool though, just spawning Draven every single time because he is the main event is very nice. Maybe they can make his 6-star just be Draven. Everywhere. All at once. Okay, so I added a new tier, won't be added soon, needs to be changed because these are, 2 of them are win condition champions, like you win if you get them. And I think they'll have to like do something about them because Fiora needing to kill 4 units is very easy in early adventures and kind of impossible or very very hard in late adventures. So you know, she'll probably need to be changed in a way. And for Rise, it's kind of the same thing, but being able to dig up the runes will be very easy in Path of Champions at game start, like with Nautilus, because you only start with 20 cards, and that's counting the runes in the deck, 20 something cards. There are very low chances of Rise being that useful though, because 2 of his runes are pretty useless. The heal 2 is useless in PvP, it's pretty useless in PvP, and it will also be very useless in Path of Champions because 2 heal does nothing, and the deal 2 damage rune will be so freaking situational, it will hurt. So he remains pretty weird, especially because Rise's origin lets him only have spells in his deck. If they actually use that origin to make his deck, and they kind of have to, because that's how most origins work, like... Actually not really, Aatrox has things that aren't Tarkin weapons, so I guess not really. I guess Rise will have. It will be very cool though. If they can make just a spell only deck to Rise, that would be very nice. Anyway, yeah. And the last one is Katarina. She is easily the most breakable champion Path of Champions by far. How? Not Grand Generals, Swain's Army, Packed Powder, Scourge's Stash. That's it. That's all you need to break Katarina. You just get an Infinite Rally on turn 1, and you always win. So she'll probably need to be heavily changed or never added. Their pick, I don't care. Fizz. I'll put him in don't care tier, but he can be cool as a Bilgewater champion if they give him pranks. Because Fizz generating pranks constantly, I don't know how it, 2-star, 3-star, something like that, will be very nice because you can just completely deny your opponent, because the AI is very weird about pranks and curses, like they never know how to play around them. So, you know, if Fizz generates pranks, then he'll be a very cool champion. If he just generates 1-cost spells that do nothing, because that's kind of his original archetype, then it will be boring and kind of useless. Though he himself may be kind of a win condition because, you know, cheap elusive. Yay. Galio. I want Galio. I don't really want him, but I want him because Formidable is a very unique archetype in Legends of Runeterra. And I feel like I keep on having this idea, and I really want them to do it, for his 2-star to just grant every Formidable unit to be able to just make every Formidable unit be able to block anything, no matter the circumstance. You are fighting Ashe and everything has 0 health, 0 attack, it doesn't matter. You are fighting Bigus and 4 or less attack can't block, doesn't matter. You are fighting Fearsomes, doesn't matter. You are fighting Elusives, doesn't matter. It would be also very nice if he just takes half overwhelm damage or something like that, or not at all, because again, they block it technically. I don't know if they'll do it. I hope they'll do it. But there's a good chance they'll just try to solve the overall problem, that is that you can't really block anything, by making it so his 4-star is when I attack, grant me attack equal to my health. And that's kind of boring. But you get the idea. Formidables are interesting, cool, and there are some really nice formidables like Balin, I think is his name or something like that, the 0-4 that grants Formidable everywhere plus 1 health, and the 0-3 bird, so you know. Galio, I really want him, I think he can be very cool. Gangplank. I'll put him either at really want or want them. I think I'll put Gangplank at really want because I think he's like the only Bilgewater champion that I actually really want, right? Besides Twisted Fate. Twisted Fate is a special exception, he will always be here. Yeah, Gangplank will stay here because he's the face of Bilgewater removal, in a way, because of his powder kegs, and that can be a very interesting mechanic. Just imagine spawning powder kegs every single round. They will be used in low star adventures to just deal damage to a Nexus, and in high star adventures they can be used to remove the enemy board. Like, that's a Jinx scenario, you know, where in early adventures you just burn down the Nexus. In late game adventures you just remove their unit and burn down the Nexus at the same time. I think Gangplank can be a very cool control/aggro champion depending on the adventure star level. Jarvan. Jarvan is a very weird pick. I'll put him at want him because I think he's the only Demacian champion that I care about. Let me check, but I think he might be it. Lucian, I really don't care about him. I get the idea, but don't really care. Poppy can be cool. Quinn is just a Valor bot in PvP, so I doubt that she'll do much. Poppy is technically a Bandle City champ. So, I think I'll put Jarvan here. Galio is the other one, yeah. Because Jarvan has a very special archetype together with Renekton. They want units to be challenged, but they don't get challenger free. In Legends of Runeterra though, in Path of Champions though, they can get the 4-star power that just grants your units challenger when you play them. So that can be pretty cool. Also, there is this funny interaction with Jarvan. Like, for example, let's say you have 6 mana and you have two 2-cost Jarvans in hand. If you attack, both of them proc. You know, both of them come from hand because you have enough mana to spend on both of them. You can very easily break that in Path of Champions because you can make him a pretty low cost, especially with the new powers that we not powers, with the new items that we got that reduce the cost of units and make them fleeting, ephemeral, whatever, and just have 5 Jarvans attacking turn 1 because why not? that image is just way too funny to give up on. I also really want to see Jarvan train his deck because their interactions are just some of the best in the whole game, and I really want to see them. Because you can basically never hear them in PvP because Jarvan the third sucks. I'll put Kalista in, don't care about them, but she can be a cool 1-them champion. You know what? No, I'll put them at 1-them. Because Kalista's whole idea is reviving champions. Not reviving champions, reviving units. Like, you keep on killing and reviving your units. So I think that can be very fun because it's basically a printer, and printers are always cool. Don't really have more to say about her because the coolest Kalista card is They Who Endured, and that's in Freljord, so you can't really use it. I guess you can give her Ledros, but I doubt that they'll do that because, come on. Ledros is Kalista's husband in a way, by the way. I don't remember if they actually managed to get married or not. I don't think so, but they were together. Karma, I'll put her in 1-them again. She's the Ionian Spellslinger champion. I don't really want her. I played a lot of her in PvP, but I think that in PvE, she won't be that interesting because Karma only activates once you get enlightened. There is no card that ramps you in Ionia, so they cannot give her anything. So they have to make her ramp through her star powers. But if she ramps through her star powers, then how does she generate the spells to actually use after she levels up, you know? I don't know how they can do Karma, and honestly, I don't really care about her as much. Karma's best thing in PvP was with how many regions you can just pair her up with. Pair her up with Targon, you can survive the early game and then win with Celestials. Pair her up with, especially in Zoe Karma, by the way. Pair her up with Noxus and you can play Karma Orders. Because Noxus has a lot of had a lot of removal, and you can survive the early game through removal alone, and then just win the game through Marauders. Pair her up with Shadow Isles, you have a Spooky Karma. Pair her up with Freljord, you have Ice Karma that just completely freezes everything. Broma was the name, I think, Braum and Karma. And you also have the 7-cost spell that just freezes everything, and then if everything is frozen, she just kills the units. And because Karma casts it twice, first spell freezes everything, second spell kills everything because everything is frozen. So you know. I don't think she'll be that insane to be in I Really Want Them, but I think she will be fun. There is a lot of champions left, whoa. Let's see, who do I care about? I really don't care about Shyvana. She can be cool, yes. Do I care about her? No. She'll probably get something related to Fury. I think that's it. Like, Fury grants additional stats, and she'll probably get Challenger on the 4-star, so she and her units can just challenge everything they want. I don't think they'll give her the 4-star that makes everything a dragon and +1/+1, because that's pretty boring. Let's see, who else? Udyr, I'll put him in I Really Want Them. I think he's my favorite Freljord champion that we haven't gotten yet. Yeah, seems that way. I think Burst Speed stand swapping will feel so good that I really need to put him in I Really Want Them. Because stand swapping had to be slow speed in PvP, thanks to Ram stance dealing 1 damage, and burst speed's damage is something that you cannot get in PvP. So the other stances suffered because of it. And when it's very kind of awkward to just play a slow speed, get +2 attack and overwhelm, you know? Like, yeah, it can be game winning, but at the same time, Absolver exists, you know? 1 mana cheaper, burst speed, grants overwhelm and health. Like, why do I even play a stance swap besides the fact that cards generate it when I can just shove triple copy of Absolver in my deck, you know? Kennen. This is a really interesting one. I think I'll put him in one of them because Kennen, like Kalista, is a champion printer. Like, his archetype is recalls and playing the same units over and over again. And I think that can be pretty fun in Path of Champions. We don't really have summon effects in Runeterra, I'm pretty sure. Or don't have any interesting ones, at least. I don't think I can remember any. We mostly have play effects, right? Like, we have our Kindler, I guess. But yeah, there aren't any summon effects that are that insane. What is insane, though, is the Ionian Bender City card that whenever they get recall, they get a new keyword and attack. That girl being replayed over and over again thanks to Kennen will make him pretty cool. Even though it will probably be a pretty troll deck if I'm not going to lie. Anything else? Anything else for Ionia? Any crazy combo with Kennen? I can't think about anything. Yeah, unless there are any cool play effects that I'm not remembering, I don't think Kennen will be that insane. Play/summon effects, because you can technically just play them instead of just summoning them, but you get the idea. I don't see Kennen being that interesting. Lulu, come on. Who cares about Lulu? Yeah, bring support to Ionia, whatever, who cares? Taric is a better support champion. Malphite. He's hard. On one hand, I really don't care about him. Like, I'm sorry to say, but Taric, Soraka, Zoe will be in I really want them tier, by the way. They're all very cool Targon champions because Soraka has her healing archetype, Taric has his support archetype, Malphite has landmarks, yeah, he has them, but we've already seen how landmarks go with Talia, and they aren't that cool, and I don't think Malphite will make them cool, not going to lie. Yeah, I know people want to hear cheap, but honestly, I just can't see Malphite being that interesting. Who knows, maybe I'll be wrong and he'll just end up being one of my most played champions or something, but nah. Pantheon. They really don't care about tier as well. Like, he brings targeting, but that's about it. His units, I think Pantheon will be one of the better champions when they get added, because Pantheon's normal package is pretty good. Like, Fate is a pretty good keyword, thanks to gems most of the time being 0 cost in Path of Champions, because of how items and powers work. And you'll probably have enough targeting in Pantheon. I think the best thing about Pantheon will be his stun spell, his champion spell that Kale has. Like, that spell is one of the best things about Kale's deck, and it may be one of the best things about Pantheon's deck as well. He'll probably have White Flame and people will complain about that, so, you know. But, yeah, don't really care about Pantheon. Nocturne, I'll put him in one of them tier. Maybe even really want them. Nocturne sounds like a really cool idea. In PvP, he has been dominating the meta for a long time thanks to Fearsomes being so freaking busted. And I think in Path of Champions, he can be pretty nice because you can very easily get double Nocturne on board, and double Nocturne just makes the enemy's attack go so down so fast. So I think he may be in the I really want them tier instead of just want them tier. Also, because he's a side, there's a good chance they give him mistrates, either him or Kalista, you know? So that can be fun. I'll leave him in the want them tier, but who knows? Poppy. I think I'll put her in the want them tier, not in the don't care about tier, because Poppy's whole thing is that allies that have less attack than her, or allies that have less attack than one of her units, get a special effects. So it can be pretty fun that, if they toy around with that. I don't know how they can do it though. because it's a pretty weird mechanic. Like, if they make it so allies that have 5 or less attack get a bonus when you attack, like granting them to the Nexus, you know, then she becomes pretty weak in high star adventures because it's just 5 attack, really? But very strong in low star adventures. If they make it so just your strongest unit gains the when I attack allies with less attack than me, game blah blah blah, then that's pretty boring because, well, you always have a strongest unit, right? I think they need to like make her own spell that grants a unit allies with less attack than me gain something when I attack, you know? I think that's the only way they can do it. But honestly, Pop is here just because I really love her level up. Granting impact to everyone seems very cool, and is one of the most satisfying level ups in the game to get. It will be very easy in Path of Champions because you just need 3 attacks and you'll probably be able to run the thing that makes her invincible when she's attacking. But, you know, she can be cool. Quinn. Don't care about him. I really don't care about scouts. Never played them. I mean, I recently played them and I need to make a video about it already, but Quinn has always been just a Valor generating bot. Valor is stronger than her in both the League and Runeterra, so it's pretty funny. And I really don't feel like she'll be that interesting. She'll probably like get quick attack on Valor as one of her items. Maybe make Valor burst speed. Anything else? Probably somehow she'll get a free attack so she can rally on the opponent's turn. Don't know how. Maybe give her the Jarvan card, maybe. We'll see. Rek'Sai. Don't care about her at all. We've already seen how Lurk works with Pyke. I don't think Rek'Sai can do anything more interesting than that. I'm a Lurk hater anyway, and we have got way more interesting Shurima champions than Rek'Sai. Renekton. I'll put him in just the cool tier, not very cool tier, because he's an ascendant, so that makes him cool already. Like level 3 champions, you get the idea. But he doesn't have that interesting of a deck. Renekton's whole shtick is giving things vulnerable, challenge them, kill them. Nessus already has the vulnerable thing, and it works very well for him because he reduces the attack of units, because that's how he works in League and in Runeterra. He like debuffs enemies. Renekton doesn't have that. He needs to buff his allies / himself to do it. And I'm not the type of guy that enjoys buffing your own units. I enjoy denying the opponent, you know? So like buffing my own Renekton to like kill his entire board isn't as satisfying as just making his entire board have nothing, you know, have 0 attack and 6 HP and they can't do anything about it. He can be cool though, because giving an entire board vulnerable sounds very fun for some reason in my head. I don't know, maybe just choosing whoever meets their demise is funny? No idea. I really wish though that they'll give him the 4 cost deal double damage to a unit obliterated though, because I think that makes Renekton a really nice champion, because you'll just be able to always vulnerable the lowest attack unit and give them that to deal double damage. We'll have to wait and see though. Riven. Think I'll put her in non-care tier. We've already gotten a lot of Noxus champions. Riven isn't that interesting. Blade Fragments, double attack, yada yada. Who the heck cares, dudes? Like, whoa, more stats. How fun is that? Rumble, 100% in one to them tier. Mecha Yordles are a cool mechanic. You need to sacrifice 3 cards to buff Rumble up, so that will be interesting, especially because he'll most likely have the 2 cost when I'm discarded. I'm played on board landmark that buffs Mecha Yordles whenever you play one / summon one. So I think that will be nice. And again, Mecha Yordles are an actual cool mechanic. They aren't just stat buffs, they are special cards, you know? So I think Rumble can be interesting. Sejuani. I'll put him in the one to them tier. Sejuani is an interesting case, because compared to Gangplank, her shtick is her level up. Like, she cares about plunder a lot more than Gangplank does. And the problem with that is Freljord doesn't have many plunder procs. Like, they have Ember Maiden and that's basically it, and Overwhelm, you know. But you can't really use Overwhelm on the enemy turn. So Ember Maiden kind of becomes your sole way to activate plunder. And you need to activate plunder 5 rounds. Like, that's so long. So I really don't know how they can do her. But I'm certain that if they manage to do her well, she'll be a very fun champion. Because freezing the entire enemy board with just one spell is incredible. It makes you feel alive, you know? And it's more interesting than just Braum and Anivia. I don't know, I'm weird like that. Senna. Put her in one to them tier, not because of darkness, but because of fast speed slow spells. Withering Mist is one of my favorite spells. I'm pretty sure Withering Mist is the drain 2 from 2 units. So, you know. And also, you can cosplay as Viego by playing Senna, you know? The Viego from the Adventures that just spams Senna's champion spell to kill units and lower the attack of everybody. So I think that will be pretty fun. And again, I like removing units. Senna will do a lot of that. I'll put Sion in a really want them tier. I think he's probably my most wanted Noxus champion of the ones that we have left. Because we'll get Mel before him though. Like, of course we get Mel. Arcane, woohoo. Sion's discard package is very different from Rumble, Jinx, and Draven because he discards to buff his units. He doesn't discard to... That wasn't the correct way to say. He discards to like get buffed units, you know? Instead of discarding to buff the units on board. And that's very interesting, especially because they'll 100%, I can guarantee this, they'll give him the 4-cost guy that when discarded, the 8-cost guy that when discarded becomes the 4-cost guy, and they'll give that 4-cost guy Challenger back. He originally had Challenger, but because it was so dominant to just get an infinite Challenger unit that keeps on removing the enemy board, that they had to change it to Fearsome, which is more thematic, I guess. But they'll probably give him Challenger back in PvE. And I think that will make Sion very cool because you'll just be discarding units, playing units, and then removing the enemy's board with those units, getting your units back in hand, and then discarding them again to repeat the process. Like, you keep on throwing corpses at the enemy until they fall, you know? That's a very Sion thing to do. Plus, I love Screaming War, you know? And I also think Sion's champion spell is very strong, so, you know, that will be fun to use. Sivir, nobody cares about her. She has lucky finds, I guess. If you care about lucky finds, good for you. I don't care about her at all. Soraka, I'll put her in one to them tier. I know. Why isn't Soraka in the won't be added tier? Because of Temple. I think Temple is the card. You need to heal for 22 to win the game. One, healing for 22 is insanely hard. Because in Path of Champions, your units will probably get removed way easier. 2, I don't think they'll give her Temple. I know, this may be controversial, but there are a lot of heal cards in Targon. There are gems, there's the 2-cost Guiding Touch, there's Star Shaping. Temple is necessary in PvP, and will probably be necessary for her in PvE, but I just don't think they'll give it to her. I think they'll gatekeep it. And that you'll probably just have to heal your units with gems to grant them bonus effects. And I think that will be interesting to see. I just don't think they'll give her Temple, okay? That's it. That's why she's here in the ones them instead of don't care about them tier. Because seeing Soraka play without Temple by just throwing units, them surviving with 1 HP and you somehow healing them back up is interesting. Taric. One to them tier. He's an interesting Dragon champ compared to Malphite and Pantheon to me because he copies spells, and there are so many interactions with this, from judgment to what do you call it? Not give it all. Go hard to other spells that just get so broken and copied. The rally, the Demacian rallies. And I think that Taric will be very interesting just because of how strong copying spells is and how interesting the idea of just playing a really strong targeted spells, getting it doubled, and then getting it tripled and quadrupled because you'll most likely just have Scout on Taric or something like that. Or multiple copies of Taric. I don't know how to say this. I just think he'll be good. And I also really like Taric. It will be also very easy to level him up in Path of Champions. So him granting invulnerable to something will be something pretty fun. Trundle. I think I'll put him in one of them tier. Trundle compared to the others fits the Freljord identity very well. Like, he loves 8+ cost spells, he actually has something to ramp into. And who knows how they can make that work. They can shove up a lot of 8+ cost units and spells into his deck and pray that somehow works, and I'm excited to see that. Veigar should be here. Xerath is of course in the I really want them tier. Level 3 champion that removes units, obliterates units, landmark, distraction to kill enemies. Is so freaking unique compared to everything. Like, Galio, Jarvan, Taric, their stats. Renekton the same, Poppy the same. Karma, Taric, what do you call her? Seraphine. They all copy spells. Like, again, it's a really cool mechanic, but it's something that you've seen before. Udyr again is buffs. Sion is one of the 4 discard champions. Aphelios is very cool, but at the same time, he basically has 2 stats weapons, a removal, and a stun. That's it. TF just draws cards. And that's also what Janna and Nila want, and in a way Jinx. Xerath on the other hand, and Vi by the way. Xerath on the other hand is kind of the only landmark champion in the game that actually removes units. Like, Malphite has the obliterate landmark, but that's not really him. Ziggs, which will be coming up soon, obliterates the enemy nexus. Like, he destroys the enemy nexus, not the enemy units. Xerath on the other hand, he just keeps on pinging and pinging and pinging enemy units until they die. That's interesting because he doesn't just kill them through a spell or something, he kills them through landmarks. And a really popular landmark in Shurima is the vulnerable one, so just letting the enemy play units, they get struck by Xerath and lose 3 HP, and then they are also vulnerable, so you can just easily remove them, is something very cool and very unique. So really want them is a very good tier for Xerath. Zed. This will be kind of weird, but I think I'll put him in I really want them tier. He's the only Ionian champion that kind of doesn't care about value at all. I guess in a way with Lulu, but who cares about Lulu? Like, Kennen wants to keep on recalling units so you can replay strong effects. Karma replays spells, very powerful spells. Yasuo stuns units, so you get value from them not being able to do anything and then them just waiting a turn. R is the other one, I guess, because she's also an aggro champion style. Don't see if there's any other Ionian champions. I know way, yeah. Zed, on the other hand, is just pure ephemeral aggro. He just goes in, attacks, goes in, attacks, goes in, attacks, over and over again. He just tries to outstat the enemy so hard through ephemerals and hand buffs and board buffs that they can't do anything about it. And I think that's pretty cool. I've also played a lot of Zed Kayle in PvP lately, so that may have something to do with it. Let's just do it already. Zoe is in the I really want them tier. I'll even put her under Seraphine. One of my most played PvP champions. And she's one of the best champions to be added to PvE because, again, she generates a lot of cards. She has a really unique effect that just gives you the epic power that just shares keywords. She has a win condition already, which is invoking big celestials with her level 2, and again her level 2 just granting keywords. Like, she's a very interesting card. She'll probably get the Targon Unicorn, she'll probably get Celeste, she'll probably get Hush, like a really, really nice champion. Excited about her, one of my most requested champions together with SERAQUEEEEEN. She'll be nice. Ziggs. I think Ziggs will be an interesting champion in I really want them tier. Because, again, while he doesn't remove units with Zerat, I think he's like the only burn champion that I'm actually interested about. Because burning the enemy nexus through landmarks sounds freaking fun. And I think that he'll probably have the arsenal in his deck. And I think that will be interesting. Ethereal, really want them tier, one of my most played PvP champions, love spellslingers, he removes the enemy board, he generates cards, he is nice. Burn the enemy nexus, remove cards, elusive attacker, elusive blocker, unique effects, only way of burst speed damage in this game besides Zerat. And I'm saying this because I'm talking about PvP, not PvE, so that's why. Zilean. This is just BS. You can easily put him in don't care tier, just so you know. But I love Zilean in both Runeterra and League. One of my most played League of Legends champions. And I really just love the old man. I don't know what they can do about him. They can make him like actually use Kahiri. But I don't think that's a good idea. But who knows, maybe an infinite army of Kahiri isn't as bad as I think, right? I don't know, just getting a free predict every single turn with 70 Kahiris in your deck may be nice. Who knows? There aren't that many left, so I'll just put Lucian in the don't care about them tier. He can have his own archetype in Demacia where he wants units to die, but I personally don't care about it because besides Dawn Speaker and wanting to see his wife die, I don't think there's anything in Demacia that cares about units dying. So yeah, don't care about him at all. Tristana, she needs to have Bundle 3, but even if she has it, I don't care about her at all. Don't care about them tier. She just freaking sucks. The only way I would be excited about Tristana if she has every single Dual Region card that we got when Bundle City got revealed, like Aloofs and the rest, because I don't remember any single Dual Region card besides Aloof. She needs to have them. Otherwise, it will just be sad. Oh, she can have Mayor, I guess. Maokai. He's a hard one. Kind of don't care about him. Kind of want to see his win con. Because tossing cards in SI is very different than tossing cards in Bilgewater. I think I'll keep him in the one to them tier because I'm curious what they can do to him. Seeing how Nautilus is a pretty unique champion, not going to lie, even though he sucks. Leona should be here. The last 5. Heka, Shen, Aurelia, Liz, and Vladimir. I'll just put Lissandra in I really want them tier straight up. Probably the coolest Freljord champion for most people. Again, I'm just very biased against Udyr. I love the guy. One of my mains in League of Legends, so you know. But I think she's probably one of the most requested champions, especially because people want to beat Lissandra with Lissandra, you know. She can be very interesting because she can have something to do with trolls. Like Draculon Inquisitor together with Accelerating Trolls can be cool. Aurelia. I'll put her in one to them because I think Azir will just... nah, I really want them. Aurelia together with Zed are the two champions in Ionia that just attack over and over and over and over again. Just destroying the enemy boards to free attacks and units that just outstat them, and I think Aurelia can do that very nicely. Especially if you get the +1 attack global power, or the +1/+1 when you get summoned power. She can be very nice. I'll leave her there. She needs to get cost reduction on Blade Dance though. The 2 cost card that she generates, it needs to go back to 1 cost as it was when she got released in PvP. Making it bird speed, I don't know if it matters or not. Maybe it matters. Maybe you can do it. Don't know. Don't care enough about her. Hecarim. Put him in, I really want him tier. He's probably the most unique Shadow Isles champion, because he's like the only Shadow Isles champion that's aggro that isn't Nocturne. And Nocturne doesn't really count because Nocturne is just spam units. Hecarim spams ephemeral units. There's a big difference in that because Hecarim has a risk, Nocturne doesn't, you know? Like that risk takes you very far. So I think I'll put him and I really want him there. Shen. I honestly don't really care about him. He has a cool idea, barriers. But besides the girl that gets attacked whenever she gets barrier, and I guess Kinko student, the 3-1 that gets barrier when another unit gets barrier, there are no cards that do anything for him, like at all. Of course, he'll be pretty good if they give him the 4-cost lifesteal and barrier card, but I don't care about good, I care about fun. And I don't see him with barriers being that insane. I mean, no, him with barriers can be very insane. I don't see him being that fun. Vladimir, Lord Vladimir. I'll put him here. Besides San, he's probably the most unique Noxus champion that we have left. Because he wants his units to be damaged. And that's something unique. Like, the other damaged archetype in this entire release are Soraka and Braum. And all 3 of them are kind of unique. Braum sucks, Soraka actually heals the units. Vladimir's doesn't heal the units. He either lets them regen back up, gives them tough, or straight up doesn't care about them. Soraka will actively try to heal her own units to get boosts. Vladimir will just try to make sure that they're still alive so he can suck them again and again and again, but nothing else. I really think that he's a 3-cost guy that generates a random Vladimir follower whenever he gets damage will be a very interesting card, because he'll be able to generate so much value. But I think that's about it. About what champions I want from 3 stars to get 6 stars. Jhin, 100%, really care about him. Besides that, Mordekaiser if they rework him, Kindred if they rework her. I know Kindred is broken, but I want a rework for her. Nami in a way, but she's already kind of broken. I don't know what they can do for her 6-star. Nami is already one of the strongest champions in the game. If they give her spells cost 1 less, she becomes freaking bonkers, so I don't know what they can do for her 6 stars. LeBlanc again, they'll probably have to take some time for her because she right now got a League of Legends rework. Visual update, not really rework. So it will be pretty weird to just give her 6 stars while she has her old look, you know? And the Victor thing is a special case because that was an actual rework, while her Blanc was just a visual updates. So yeah, I think this was my tier list. Say anything you want about it in the comments. I really appreciate comments about things like this. I also need some more video ideas. Like, I don't know what I can do because I can kind of upload runs, but not going to lie, I don't get why people really watch runs. It just doesn't feel that satisfying to me to watch them anymore, so I don't get how you can feel satisfied by seeing me beat Elder Dragon over and over again, you know? So I want to like do some more original stuff. If you care about original stuff, by the way, check out my second channel because it has a lot of heavily edited videos with very interesting topics. So, with that said, I hope that you enjoyed. Comment, like, subscribe, check my Twitch, check my second channel. Have a nice day, and bye.